Headlines of this hour on VTV News. Vietnam and the UAE agreed to elevate relations to comprehensive partnership. Later on, shrimp exports surge as year-end approaches. In our world news, Japan's ruling coalition loses parliamentary majority.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It is currently 8 a.m. local time and you're tuning into 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Lilin Lei with the latest updates. Party General Secretary Tô Lâm hosted a reception in Hanoi on Monday for a high-ranking delegation from the French Communist Party, or PCF, led by its National Secretary Fabien. The delegation is in Vietnam to attend the fourth theoretical workshop between the two parties. The Vietnamese leader expressed delight at the growth in bilateral ties, particularly the recent elevation to a comprehensive strategic partnership. He suggested that the two parties increase cooperation in existing areas, including the theoretical workshop mechanism, which facilitates the sharing of theoretical issues and practical experience to enhance each party's operational capacity. He also recommended directions and measures to further deepen relations between the two parties. The PCF leader in turn stressed that the PCF highly values and prioritizes the strengthening of its relationship with the CPB. He expressed a desire to maintain and enhance existing areas of cooperation, particularly through the theoretical workshop mechanism. The PCF remains committed and ready to make practical, effective contributions to advancing the Vietnam-France Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, including collaboration in economy, trade, rail and waterway transportation, locality-to-locality partnerships, and parliamentary cooperation. On Monday, in the capital city of Abu Dhabi, a formal welcome ceremony for Prime Minister Pham Minh Ching's official visit to the United Arab Emirates, or UAE, was held at the Presidential Palace, presided over by UAE Vice President Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan. After the ceremony, the Vietnamese Prime Minister held a private meeting with UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, during which the two leaders agreed to elevate their countries' bilateral relationship to a comprehensive partnership.
The United Arab Emirates fired a 21-cannon salute to welcome Prime Minister Pham Minh Ching and the high-level Vietnamese delegation. The UAE leaders warmly welcomed the Vietnamese Prime Minister on his official visit to the UAE and praised Vietnam's heroic history and development. Expressing his delight on his first official visit to the beautiful and hospitable UAE, Prime Minister Pham Minh Ching thanked the UAE leaders and the people for the warm and respectful welcome extended to the delegation. Prime Minister Pham Minh Ching, UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and Vice President Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan expressed their pleasure with the remarkable developments in the relationship between the two countries. To meet the aspirations of the leaders and people of both nations, and with the desire to contribute to peace, stability, cooperation, and development in the region and the world, both sides agreed to elevate the two countries' relationship to a comprehensive partnership. With this, the UAE becomes Vietnam's first comprehensive partner in the Middle East, reflecting the determination and expectations of both countries' leaders to bring bilateral cooperation to new, stronger, and more effective heights. In an atmosphere of friendship, sincerity, trust, and openness, the Vietnamese Prime Minister and the UAE President agreed on 6 priority areas of cooperation. Prime Minister Pham Minh Ching also requested that UAE authorities facilitate favorable conditions for the Vietnamese community living, studying, and working in the UAE. The UAE President affirmed that he would actively direct relevant UAE agencies to cooperate with the Vietnamese side in implementing the outcomes of the visit. At the conclusion of the private talks, Prime Minister Pham Minh Ching conveyed the Vietnamese state president's invitation to the UAE president to visit Vietnam. The UAE president graciously accepted and expressed his intention to make the visit in the near future.
Prime Minister Pham Minh hosted a reception for UAE Minister of Economy Abdullah bin Tuk Al Mari in Abu Dhabi on October the 28th local time. The Vietnamese leader suggested that Vietnam and the UAE should implement bilateral agreements, particularly the soon-to-be-signed Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement (CEPA), to reach their goal of $10 billion in two-way trade quickly. He asked the UAE to open its market more widely to Vietnam's strong products, such as agricultural and aquatic goods, fresh vegetables, and processed foods. Additionally, he called for promoting cooperation and supporting the development of the halal industry in Vietnam to help achieve this trade goal. For his part, Economy Minister Al Mari shared the UAE's experiences in various areas: business development, investment attraction, development of economic and free trade zones, talent attraction, intellectual property, and visa policy. He highlighted the UAE's efficient process for business registration and investment project deployment, which can be completed in an exceptionally short time. On the same day, Prime Minister Pham Minh received UAE Minister of Investment Mohammed bin Hassan Al Suwaidi during his official visit to the Middle Eastern country. The Prime Minister asked the UAE to participate in building, investing in, and developing financial centers in Vietnam. He added that Vietnam aims to establish international financial centers in Ho Chi Minh City and Da Nang City, as well as create free trade zones in major cities. In response, the UAE Minister of Investment noted that Vietnam, with a population of 100 million, and the UAE, with 10 million inhabitants, both play significant roles in their respective regions. He expressed the UAE's readiness to share experiences and support Vietnam in building financial centers in Ho Chi Minh City and Da Nang. The minister also pledged to encourage UAE corporations to invest in strategic projects in Vietnam and to introduce potential UAE partners to Vietnamese business people and investors for cooperation, expansion, and effective implementation of investment project in the UAE. On Monday morning, National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn held a plenary session to discuss a report from the supervisory delegation and a draft resolution regarding the results of a specialized oversight on the implementation of policies and laws governing the management of the real estate market and the development of social housing from 2015 through 2023.
The government has organised numerous meetings and direct engagements with businesses to alleviate challenges and promote a safe, healthy and sustainable real estate market. However, many representatives expressed concerns over rampant price inflation and speculative bubbles distorting the market.
Property prices have surged, particularly in the condominium sector. Land auction prices and those for suburban properties have exceeded 4,100 USDs per square meter. This speculative price inflation is the primary driver behind the recent spikes in real estate costs. Some investors manipulate prices, creating misinformation to exploit public sentiment for profit. I urge the government to implement robust measures to control land speculation.
Real estate prices in major cities have skyrocketed, exceeding the actual housing needs of residents due to price manipulation, which is difficult to address. I recommend the government expedite taxation on second properties and explore measures to stabilize housing prices.
The discussion centered on ensuring an adequate supply of social housing and addressing challenges in this sector. Several representatives highlighted a critical issue regarding the misapplication of eligibility criteria for social housing access.
If an inspection were conducted, it would likely reveal individuals living in social housing who do not meet the eligibility criteria. This issue stems from various factors, including errors in reviewing applications for social housing and instances of legal circumvention for buying and reselling these properties. Consequently, low-income individuals face even greater barriers to accessing social housing.
Low-income individuals often lack the means to save for a home, and many struggle to even cover bank loan interest. I propose that we increase the availability of rental housing for low-income earners, allowing them to rent indefinitely and transition to purchasing commercial housing when financially feasible.
After this session, representatives will continue discussing the oversight results regarding the implementation of policies and laws on real estate market management and social housing development.
Over the past 10 months, shrimp exports have generated nearly $3 billion for Vietnam, an increase of more than 10% compared to the same period last year. This product group contributes the most to the seafood industry's total export turnover. Currently, the market is becoming more dynamic, with shrimp processing plants ramping up purchasing and processing to boost export revenue.
The crispy fried shrimp here are being prepared for export to Europe. To quickly achieve a revenue target of $110 million, representing a 20% increase compared to 2023, the company is intensifying procurement.
Our products have been sold to developed countries such as the US, Japan, and Europe. Previously, these products were primarily focused on Japan, but over time, Vietnam's value-added products have successfully expanded into other markets.
Like many shrimp farmers in the Mekong Delta, this man is quite pleased as the selling price of this product is rising.
Compared to the previous month, the price of shrimp per kilogram has increased by more than $1.58. This is a very positive sign.
It is essential to strengthen connections with shrimp farming households to ensure a stable supply. With a reliable source of materials, the processing plants can operate at full capacity.
The year-end festival seasons will present an opportunity for our shrimp exports to soar. Effectively tapping into the potential of various markets with a wide range of deep processed products will help this multi-billion-dollar industry continue to grow and make a significant contribution to the seafood sector's goal of reaching $10 billion in exports.
The requirement for traceability under the EU Deforestation Regulation (EUDR) poses an unprecedented challenge for Vietnam. Although Vietnam is the world's second-largest coffee exporter, its supply largely relies on smallholder farms. While waiting for official guidance from the EU, sustainable coffee production is being actively pursued in cooperative growing regions to ensure compliance with strict European standards and readiness for export.
Trong Agricultural Cooperative manages 60 hectares of coffee landscape, all certified under the 4C and Rainforest Alliance for sustainable farming practices. Proper harvesting techniques have led to improved coffee yield and quality.
At first, the coffee harvested by local farmers didn't meet standards. They picked unripe beans, resulting in lower yields. Since joining this program, farmers now harvest ripe beans, leading to increased production and profits. Farmers are really happy.
As a collaborating region with Intermix Buôn Ma Thuột, Đại Thắng Cooperative receives guidance and production materials to meet export standards, purchasing all coffee at prices about $45 per kilogram, higher than the market rate.
In the past, production was fragmented. By joining the value chain, our output has increased and the products receive better pricing support from the company, leading to stable and high sales, so much so that we can hardly meet demand.
We have assigned tasks to various departments and 7 key districts to implement procedures for establishing a mapping system that documents non-deforestation and forest degradation in compliance with EU regulations.
To comply with new regulations, pilot areas are implementing sustainable coffee production models. These initiatives involve reorganizing existing cultivation practices and accelerating implementation to ensure adherence to the EU deforestation regulation.
Coming up next on VTV News, Quảng Bing's roads severely damaged by floods. And later on, Vietnam wins World Cybersecurity Competition. Moving on to other news, Quang was one of the areas most severely impacted by Typhoon number 6 in Vietnam, or Typhoon Trong, with nearly 17,700 houses submerged. The Nhật Lệ River's water levels rose rapidly, surpassing Alert Level 3. Continuous heavy rains have left many areas in Quang Binh province under deep floodwaters, submerging several national highways and causing significant traffic disruptions. This report highlights the extent of the damage as documented by our news correspondents on the ground.
Currently, 12 sections along National Highways 1A on the Ho Chi Minh Road in Trường Thủy and Lệ Thủy communes are cut off due to floodwaters. In many areas, water levels have reached depths of 0.5 to 1 meter. In response, Quang Binh provincial authorities have set up barriers and stationed personnel to restrict traffic and ensure safety.
To manage traffic, we have set up alternate flood avoidance routes. If water levels continue to rise in the coming days, we are prepared to deploy personnel and resources to coordinate efforts and ensure traffic safety.
Preliminary damage assessments indicate that 3 fishing boats sank while anchored, and 1 person lost their life after being swept away by floodwaters. The floods have inundated over 17,700 homes and submerged more than 430 hectares of crops.
The Ministry of Health has recently issued Circular 22, which regulates the direct payment of medicines and medical equipment costs covered by health insurance for insured individuals seeking medical care. Notably, this circular ensures the rights of health insurance participants by allowing them to be prescribed medications and medical supplies for self-purchase.
This patient with heart failure needs daily medication but has had to buy it from a pharmacy for months. The hospital explained that the medication has been unavailable for months, preventing them from conducting tenders.
This is the only type the doctor said couldn't be imported in time, so I've been buying it from a pharmacy for several months.
Starting January 1, 2025, under Circular 22, hospitals will reimburse health insurance for patients who purchase medications externally due to unavailability or lack of substitutes. The list includes about 1,000 rare and irreplaceable drugs and medical equipment.
Currently, the policy applies only to rare medicines listed by the Ministry of Health and Medical Devices, according to risk classification. For instance, items like cotton, bandages, alcohol, gauze, or IV fluids, which are easily replaceable, are not covered.
The representative of Ministry of Health also noted that determining reimbursement for medicines and medical devices is based on centralized procurement prices, negotiated prices, local bidding prices, or peer-level prices. If none of these are available, the winning bid prices from Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City will be used.
The challenge for the insurance agency is determining whether the hospital is genuinely lacking the medication or if there are no alternative drugs available for substitution.
The current regulations on direct reimbursement are quite strict. They apply when prescribed medications are unavailable, with no commercial alternatives containing the same active ingredients, or when there are alternatives, but they differ in concentration, dosage, or formulation.
The Ministry of Health affirms that issuing this circular ensures the rights of health insurance participants while also enhancing the hospital's role and responsibility in procurement and tendering for medicines and medical equipment.
Viettel's cybersecurity team, part of the Military Industry and Telecommunications Group, or Viettel, has just won the championship at the famous Ireland 2024 security competition, one of the largest and most prestigious cybersecurity competitions in the world. That is the second consecutive time Viettel has won the world's leading cybersecurity competition. During the event, white hat hacker groups and security research teams compete to find and exploit zero-day vulnerabilities, previously unknown security flaws in popular devices. This year, most AI devices have the ability to automatically detect and authenticate users based on machine learning and automatically update and adjust to detect unusual behaviors. As a result, finding vulnerabilities and taking over devices is more difficult. Viettel's cybersecurity team discovered and exploited 9 zero-day vulnerabilities, scoring nearly twice as many points as the second-place team. Vietnam is emerging as a promising music market in Southeast Asia. Behind Indonesia and the Philippines, digital technology may be creating new opportunities for artists, but challenges remain, particularly in protecting copyrights online and maintaining the quality of music productions.
Statistics from the Vietnam Music Copyright Protection Center reveal that online copyright infringements are on the rise. These infringements take diverse forms, from unauthorized use of music to streaming on pirated websites. Methods have also become more sophisticated, ranging from using original works without permission to cutting, editing, and reprocessing them to evade detection.
To address violations in the digital environment, we require advanced technological tools. However, we currently lack the necessary technology for comprehensive monitoring. Additionally, existing sanctions for digital violations are insufficient to deter such behavior.
Online music offers advantages such as speed, convenience, and widespread accessibility. However, it also presents challenges in content control, as the market has seen an influx of songs and products that are inappropriate for young audiences.
International platforms have stringent regulations regarding product releases, requiring clear declarations about content related to violence, sexuality, or age restrictions. This is especially crucial for record labels like ours, as any missteps can have significant repercussions, potentially leading to negative evaluations in the international market.
Paid online music presents a promising market. However, for this market to thrive, regulatory agencies must establish a robust legal framework and enforce appropriate sanctions to build a professional music industry. Globally, digital music revenue is becoming an increasingly substantial part of the industry's total income, with paid subscriptions rising significantly, demonstrating this as an inevitable trend, and Vietnam is no exception. To truly advance, though, the industry needs both the creative drive of artists and strong legal protections, along with effective digital management tools from regulatory bodies.
The Lai Châu Culture and Tourism Week 2024, themed Return to the Majestic Peaks of Lai Châu, will take place from November the 8th to the 10th in 2024 in Lai Châu City. This event will showcase the region's ethnic cultural spaces, selected OCOP products, and unique local agricultural goods. The program also includes a farm trip and a workshop on designing city tour packages. This significant event aims to preserve and promote the rich traditional culture of local ethnic groups, while boosting tourism development. It will highlight Lai Chau's potential strengths and unique tourism offerings to both domestic and international visitors. Coming up next in our world news, Japan's ruling coalition loses parliamentary majority. And later on, greenhouse gas levels soar to unprecedented heights. Moving on to our world news, Japan's ruling coalition has officially lost its majority in the 50th lower house election, marking the first time in 15 years that the coalition has been in this position. This shift could pave the way for a new government structure in Japan. Preliminary vote counts released early Monday morning show that the ruling coalition, comprising the Liberal Democratic Party and the Komeito Party, secured 215 seats, 18 short of a majority in the lower house. In response to this setback, Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba Shigeru pledged to implement significant reforms within the Liberal Democratic Party to regain public trust and to collaborate with other parties in the lower house to prioritize the interests of the Japanese people. Lithuania's Central Electoral Commission announced on Monday that the Lithuanian Social Democratic Party has won the parliamentary elections. Preliminary results, based on 99% of the votes counted, show the party securing 52 out of 141 seats. The ruling Homeland Union Party is on track to take second place with 28 seats. Voter turnout was 52% among the 2.4 million eligible voters. Analysts suggest that the election results indicate a shift from center-right to center-left governance in Lithuania, a member of both the European Union and NATO. The UN's weather monitoring body has issued a critical warning about greenhouse gas levels, stating they have risen at unprecedented rate over the past 2 decades. Levels of the 3 main greenhouse gases, the climate-warming carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide, have all increased. This alarming data underscores the urgent need for action to combat climate change.
The UN's weather monitoring body said on Monday that greenhouse gases have been accumulating in the atmosphere faster than any time experienced during human existence over the last 2 decades. Carbon dioxide concentrations hit a new high of 420 parts per million last year, up 2.3 parts per million from a year earlier, and they have risen by 11.4% in just 20 years. The World Meteorological Organization said in its annual greenhouse gas bulletin.
If there are any follow-up interview requests.
We have not seen these levels of CO2 in the history of humanity. Last time we've seen 400 parts per million of CO2 in the atmosphere was 3 to 5 million years ago. And during that time, the temperature was 3 to 4 degrees warmer and the sea level was 10 to 20 years higher. The problem with CO2 is that it is a very long-lived greenhouse gas. So it stays in the atmosphere for thousands of years.
Last year's increase in CO2 concentrations, the second largest annual rise of the last decade, could have been driven by a surge in forest fires, with the carbon released from Canada's worst ever wildfire season exceeding the annual emissions of most major countries. CO2 concentrations are now 51% higher than pre-industrial levels, while methane, another potent greenhouse gas, is 165% higher than in 1750, according to WMO.
Up next is the weather forecast. And that is all that we have for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our website, our YouTube channel, or download a mobile app VTVgo for more. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.